Hi everyone. I'm coming from more of a transparent video on today. No fancy stuff. This is just something that has been on my heart, and I have to share it in the area of. I want to talk about healing and love, and I want to talk today particularly talking and targeting black women, um, and understanding you, the two parts of you. Um, I did a video about this before, but I really want to dive into this. Um, so, as I was sharing, there's two parts of you. And when I say two parts of you, there is that part of you that grew up believing, thinking, having these different perspectives and views of yourself. I know for me, I grew up with, as a Christian background. My dad was a pastor. My mom, helped my dad out. And great people, great parents. I wouldn't trade them for nothing in this world. My dad is no longer here. Um, he transitioned in 2011. Um, and so, my quick background story: grew up in a Christian home, good folks, um, but there was a lot of fears and beliefs and perceptions and um, understanding that I had as a black girl, young black girl, growing up in my household, believing that really that I had to fight for life and fight for everything that um, that I wanted out of life. And so I believed that, and I went to school. I went to college. I tried to, get a degree, which I believe was best for me. And being a mother, and all of all of the different uh, hats that I was wearing and hats that I continue to wear, um, I found myself restless, but still feeling like I had to go. I found myself restless, just always tired, always having anxiety in my mind, always losing out on sleep. I thought that the answer to that, or the antidote to that, was to be a better mom, to be a better wife, to be a better person on the outside. And I was not finding my resolve. I wasn't finding the antidote, even though that was what I was told, that was what I understood of how to make life better, was to do all those things. And I still felt tired and restless. And there was no rest for my soul. And if you've been following me, you know that I talked to God. I went on a fast, and God spoke to me. I went on a fast about really just stopping and trying to find the best answer for me, because I was tired, and I knew that the rate that I was going to either end my life shortly. Um, Something had to change. I didn't know how, but I knew that it was time for the vibration. It was time for me to change, but I didn't know how. But at the same time, my spirit was always talking to me, always telling me the truth of who I am and who I was. It was always tugged against my reason for fighting, my reason for anxiety. And I believe that um, all of those beliefs and perceptions that I did have really was this identity of self that I thought I had to be. And the part that spoke to me when God spoke to me on that day when when I said earlier when I went on that fast, because something had to change of me trying to do all the different things and still finding anxiety and no rest and not feeling enough and all of all of this, societal views and how I should view myself as a person, as a woman, and how I should be, how should I act, how do I love, how do I accept myself? All of these perceptions that I had, that was a sort of identity that I created within myself. And I thought, oh, well, acceptance meant, okay, well, I have to be a size 8. My butt got to look this way. My breast got to look this way. My complexion has to be this color. Where did all this come from? All of these perceptions and beliefs and understandings of my sense, that other self of me, that identity that I thought I was who I had to be. All of that came from my environment and what I saw and how I perceived things. And on the day when I had my encounter with God, when I went on my fast and God spoke to me, as you probably have watched before, but I'll reiterate, when God spoke to me and told me who I was, it resonated with the very thing in my spirit. When God was saying, all those beliefs that you have about yourself and that low self-esteem or not feeling worthy, that's not who you are. When you thought you had to lose 30 pounds in order to feel prettier, that's not who you are. When you're not comfortable in your own body or in your own sexuality because you've been told to hide as a woman, that's not who you are. That's just the stuff that you picked up from your grandmother or an agreement that your mom made when she had her experience and it passed down energetically to you. And so that was the experience that I was having with God, that type of conversation. And it was like my soul was awakening. It was like being fed because it was starving for so long. And I don't know if you can imagine being starving for so long. Starving just as your way of life. Starving, scraping at the wall of just trying your best to be what you think you have to be within here. And on my journey, when I awakened to the fact that all of that of who I thought I had to be within me, the relationship that I had with me, all of that, when I found out that, or when I awakened to it, because it was already in the truth of me, my spirit was already within me, right? That I will call the other conscience, the greater conscience. The truth of me knew that all of that stuff that I thought I had to be and believe and perceive about myself, and how, because of that, how I responded in my relationships, how I thought that I had to be those things. I understood that, there's two parts of me. There's that part of me that I recognize that had the low self-esteem, that thought she had to work really hard, that had the anxiety, that didn't feel she was worthy of light, didn't feel she was worthy of the good, felt that it was everything was hard. And there is some truth to that in the society that we live in. There's also another dimension that I'm here to talk about on today. And that dimension is what we have within here. It's our own divine divinity, truth, love, wisdom. Um, that's our other part. That's who we really are. That has not been influenced by outside beliefs. That part is our true selves. And how I healed from the other part of me, how I healed that part of me, was that I had to learn how to take her with me on the journey. And when I talk about her, I'm talking about the part of learning how to, learning and perceiving the misperceptions, the distorted beliefs, the images, thinking I had to be a certain size, be a certain complexion, have my hair a certain way, even though I do like my hair done, but I'm talking about that part of me the wounded part of me, or the misperceived part of me, thought that I had to have my hairstyle a certain way to be considered a woman, a certain way to be considered love, a certain way. You get what I'm saying? And it was in that where on the journey of healing, I had to recognize all of that. I got to a place where I was in relationship with myself. And I had never been. I was in relationships on the outside of me. And from that, I gave out of an empty cup. But I was not in the place of having a relationship with me. And in having a relationship with me, I was able, with the help of God, with the help of my ancestors, with the help, okay? With that help, and with the help of my own spirit, my own divinity within me, with the help of that, I was able to be awakened. I allowed it to be awakened too, with my own free will. I allowed it, the truth within me, to resurrect. Meaning, I had to see and recognize that the part of me that had lived that way, okay? I'll just say this side as an example or analogy. The false self in me, I had to allow her to speak. The one that and this is all who she is. The list of things that she thought she had to be, felt she had to fight, the anxiety, feeling low about herself based off of what society has told her, based off of what, a relative or a friend, or how she perceived herself. I had to understand that I have been operating like that for years. That's my way of life. That's my way of life. I have been operating like that for years. That had been my truth for years. So when I awakened consciously, I found out that there was this other part of me that was always there, but I just allowed it to awaken. And that part was unwavering. There was this part of me that had this truth in my heart that spoke about me, that spoke of who I was. There was this unwavering, unconditional love that was not leaving. And so I had to come to the conclusion of which one was going to win and be the leader of my life. And so in doing that, I decided to make the choice in my process of healing and unlearning. I decided to make the choice to allow the truth in me to lead and to nurture this part of me, but not let her lead. That's so good because you're in relationship with self. And it is not that you ignore her. Allow her to speak, but don't allow her to lead. Don't allow her to overtake you. That was such a thin line for me. When she would feel anxious, when she would feel afraid, I had to let her feel afraid. I had to allow, I couldn't suppress it. Because I think when we suppress those feelings, when we suppress them, and then that's a whole nother can of worms. When we've been taught to suppress how we feel, when we've been taught to suppress our emotions, to suppress our desires, when we've been taught to, girls be quiet and sit this way, and there is a balance to that. There is some truth to that, but I'm talking about suppression, closure. You get what I'm saying? No circulation. No area where you're expressing yourself. When you've been taught all of these limiting beliefs about you, you believe that is your truth. And I actually forgot my train of thought, but you guys pretty much understand what I'm saying, right? And so now I remember, when you understand that part of you, it is so essential to be in relationship with both sides of you, because, and here's the thing, allowing her to speak, allowing her to feel, okay? When you're allowing her to speak, when you are allowing her to feel, you are also taking the divine part of you with you on the journey, with you on your path of truth, on your path of healing. And the divinity within you, the God, the Spirit that lives within you, is healing that part of you. And so you allow her to speak without judgment. You create the space within you, a safety space within you to cry, within you to express, within you to feel. You have to feel. You have to feel. I believe that one of the blessings, even though the way so much crazy stuff has been going on and coming up to the surface, but I want to talk about the blessing in it. I believe the blessing in that is that it's exposing, and so it's allowing people to feel. And I remember on my journey of healing and awakening to love, awakening to my divine self, I remember being afraid or having this taboo to not feel. Having this taboo to not feel. That it wasn't okay to feel, that you were considered bad to feel, that you were considered weak if you cried or if you expressed yourself saying that you needed help. And so I remember keeping my mouth closed. I remember feeling like my resilience came from a place of fighting or overcoming something. But I got tired. And I just believe, just us as a human, as a black community, is just tired. But I want to I'm targeting the black woman. Just tired. And I know black men are tired. Speaking to everyone really, but really my heart is for this message, black woman. Just tired. Just tired. And so I'm here today to tell you that in order to heal that part of you, it's in listening to your spirit. When you listen to your spirit, when you listen you will hear, you will feel, you will know. Because for so long, the other part of us has been running rampant. The other part of us was so loud. But we were so loud because we were afraid. We were so loud because we were afraid. And so, I don't have the answers for the outside world. But I do know that your place of refuge is the home within you. Your place of refuge is the spirit within you that speaks to your heart, your place of refuge. And you are amongst a cloud of witnesses that is guiding you, supporting you at night. And it is my desire that you would become awakened to those clouds of witnesses that are supporting you and protecting you and loving on you and guiding you. May they speak to you now. So don't be afraid of letting her speak. Don't be afraid. Don't. Just allow the feeling to come up. When you allow the feeling to come up, let it. Be it crying, journaling, meditating. Let it come up. Don't suppress it. You can't heal that way. I know we've been taught to stop crying, or when we cry, I'm sorry. No. Never be ashamed of your tears. Never be ashamed to express yourself. You are worthy. You are worthy. And so it's nurturing her, allowing her to speak, allowing her to feel, okay? Because it is the divinity within us. It is the God that lives within us that nurtures that part of us. Okay? So on my next video, I'm going to talk a little bit more into depth about acknowledging the triggers. Okay? Bye.